There we go. Now that stimulator's working.
I love big attractor dry flies, but there are times when a size 10 stimulator is just too big. And I find myself more and more reaching for a smaller size stimulator, like a size 14 or a 16, especially when I want to prospect up those Class A native brook trout streams or wild brown trout streams. The size 16 stimulator just seems to have more applications across various water types, and I find myself even, in larger waters, using them to imitate hoppers or crickets or some other type of worms, terrestrials, caterpillars, you name it. I'm tying this stimulator today on a size 16 1270 Daiichi hook. This is a 3x long curved hook, great for stimulators and big stoneflies, those kind of long-bodied flies. I got size 18/aught olive dun semperfly thread. Attach that to the hook shank. I'm going to take it back to about where the barb is. I'm using elk body hair for the tail, and this is a little bit darker shade. You could also use, bleached elk hair, would give it just a little brighter look, but for the black body, which I'm going to be tying today, I like the darker wing. And after we've put our little clump of hair into the stacker for the tail, I'm just going to tie that in so that it is about 1 hook gap in length. I'm going to use a couple loose wraps at first and then tighten, just because I don't want the tail to flare too much. I'm going to cut these at an angle so that I can better smooth out that body. There we go. Now I'm going to tie in some brown hackle for the over top of the abdomen there, or over top of the body. You see I have to go clear to the tip there to get to the right size for this fly. So I'm just going to break that off, and I'm going to save the other piece for a larger stimulator. Pull off some of the barbs off the stem, and I'm going to tie it in so that the shiny side is facing up. Next to me is some black dry fly dubbing. This is super fine. You could use almost any dry fly dubbing you want. And I'm going to be very, very sparse with my body on this. Just enough to really cover the thread. Being a size 16, I don't want it too bulky. And if it gets too bulky, it'll get in the way of that hook gap. And then you'll find that you're missing a few fish. You want that gap to be wide open, not blocked by materials. And I'll palmer that brown hackle over top of the abdomen or body. Oops. I use a bit more elk hair for the wing, and again we're going to stack that. Most of our tips are aligned. Pull out the stray hairs. There we go. Now next, I'm going to trim these hackles right on top here. Just a little bit of a angle and just a place to seat our wing. Now I'm going to drop that wing down into that notch that I just cut, and I want the tips to be about in line with the tips of the tail. And when I tie these in, first I'm going to trim the butts. I'm going to angle it, and the purpose for angling is so that these fibers down below are also exposed on the bottom of that stack. And that'll allow me to tie all of them in and just get a really good solid foundation built there, so that number one, the wing doesn't rotate on the hook shank, and number two, when you preen the wing like that, you don't get a lot of hairs pulling out. Next, I'm going to tie in some grizzly hackle, and again I got to go pretty far toward the tip to get the right size, and also save the bottom half of that feather for a larger fly. For the thorax, I like using, believe it or not, sulfur dubbing. I like that. I love that orange. I love the orange contrast with the black. It has worked extremely well for me. And again, I'm making that pretty sparse. Thing with these smaller hooks is that you can crowd that eye real quick if you're not careful. And then we're just going to palmer our grizzly hackle right over top of that. Before I do anything else, I'm going to throw a half hitch in there just to kind of hold everything. There have been many times when I've gone to whip finish and lose tension on the thread, and next thing you know, everything starts to come undone. Couple turns whip finisher, and we're done. And there is a black stimulator. I love this pattern. It's great for exploring up a small class A wild brown trout stream or native brook trout stream, and also for using on the larger waters. It'll imitate any type of terrestrial, caterpillar, grasshopper, cricket, you name it. Sometimes bigger isn't always better, and I think with stimulators we tend to go large on a size 10s and 12s, but often I find myself more and more reaching for the smaller sizes, such as this 16, and they have worked just really well for me. Thanks for watching.